Hi, Calista. How you doing? Okay, I've got your work up. Um, so we'll go through each of the stamps, and I've got a few recommendations. Now, I think the main thing is the fact that I don't think we're close enough to completion at this point. I think that we're pretty much underdeveloped. One of the things that I'm seeing is I'm seeing that you're not overlapping shapes to create additional shapes. What I mean by that is this hair right here. Okay, so you have the hair, and the hair is basically in this area right here. The hair resides in front of the skin, right? So as we can see here, this hair resides in front of the skin. But right now, this hair looks like this piece right here looks like it's a separate shape. So as we take it away, we can see parts of the background right here. We can see the blue in the background right through here. And that shouldn't be. This should be all be one continual illustration, as we can see in the image itself. So your layer structure and the way that you're overlapping shapes to create secondary shapes um, is something that needs to be really take a really close look at that. Right over here, we see he's got an eyebrow on this side, but he doesn't have one on this side. So that's really unusual. Another thing that I'm seeing, and not so much in this, but definitely in this illustration right here with the eyes, right here with the eyebrows, and especially in this illustration, I'm not seeing Bezier curves as much as I'm seeing curves based on a continuation of small straight lines with corner points. So as we can see, there's a corner point there, here, 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 and here. Instead of one smooth line created with the Bezier curve, you've got one point here, then a point here, then a point here. So what you're doing is it appears to be trying to create curves using a series of short straight lines. We see it again here. This is a curve, right? We see this in the hat. That's clearly a round curve. But over here, we're seeing a straight point, a straight point, a straight point, a straight point, a straight point. So you're using straight lines to create the curve. Another thing that I would recommend is trying to achieve a degree of consistency in the series. And by that, I mean that you can take some liberties here and you can create the skin tone that's going to be, oh, back to the pen tool. Here's another example right here. Straight, 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 straight. The chin, here's a straight line, straight line, straight line. See it in the tie. It's a great example of the tie right here. As we can see, this tie has this curve right here, but over here it goes straight point, straight point, straight point, straight point. So my recommendation at this point would be to go back and take a really close review on the Bezier functions of the pen tool. Okay, I was talking about, what was I talking? Oh, skin tone. So the skin tone, it looks like what you've done here in all four illustrations is you've sampled the skin tone out of the original image, which is fine if it's a single illustration. But in a series, you want to create some sort of consistent skin tone. For that reason, I recommend developing a consistent skin tone between all four characters. Right now, we're really need a lot of development in shadow and highlight areas, specifically associated with the face, the eyes, some little contrast in the eye areas, little shadows under the lips, under the neck, the eyes. We all have those little bags under our eyes right there. You can see it right there. Well, here, let me get that in right here. We all have those little bags, right? He's got these moles on his face that are very defining characteristics for him. So I would highly recommend that you include those. Okay, now she is in grayscale basically except for the faint pink and the very light skin tone. Other than that, she's in grayscale, which the rest are in color. So for consistency in the series, I recommend presenting her in color. Right now, her head looks like it's floating because there's no neck. The outfit she has clearly has a neck, but right now the neck area is the same color as the background, so it appears that her head is kind of floating above her body. We definitely want some shadow and highlight areas through here. Again, contrast in the eye areas. Eyeliner. Use eyeliner and little eyelashes, and then these little shadows underneath the nose here, right here, little facial characteristics. So, and then we've got a wonderful opportunity here to add these shadow and highlight areas to the hair. And then finally, the last the third stamp is kind of being cropped. I mean, I see the image is cropped, but you don't want to do that in a stamp because it looks unusual. As you can see, if this were a stamp, I think we would look at it and go, wait, where's the rest of it? You can take some artistic liberties here and go ahead and complete the top of its hat the way that you would picture it to be. Also, a lot of characteristics here that aren't in the illustration. Again, we're talking about this contrast in the eye. Here's that pen tool again, straight paths, but contrast in the eyes. And we do that by developing these. Look at this nice crease in his eye right over here. I mean, we should really show that here. And then also here, these little character lines in his face here, here. We've got those, but we've got the hair, we've got the little bags under the eyes, we've got the crow's feet. All of that stuff is detail that could be added that would make the illustration more engaging and more recognizable as well. Watch the color of the hat. Right now the hat is depicted as just brown, but there's a lot of detail in the hat here that could be applied. Same thing with the neck. Right now the neck is just one solid dark color, but we don't see that here. Okay, and then this, again, we're just talking about basic pen tool work. Right now we've got this. You went around all the way around here with the hair, but then right here it just goes, it just goes straight down. Like right now there's this curve here and this curve right here with this chin, I'm sorry, with this cheekbone. Those aren't depicted here. So we just go straight down. That looks a little unusual. Got a great chance here to develop some shadow, some highlight, some texture in the hair. A little texture in the eyebrow, and then of course those facial characteristics, shadow, highlight, shadow, highlight. It's all about shadow, highlight. Right here we've got this shadow depicted right here, but that looks really, really dark. We can clearly see skin tone here, but here it's a completely different hue. So is this side of his neck. When you create shadows, highlights, and facial characteristic contour lines for depicting facial characteristics, you want to a really good technique is to take a darker value of the parent hue of the skin tone. So you take the hue of the skin tone and you create a tint. Instead of tinting to black, tint to a very, very dark value of the parent hue. Okay, so and you've done that here and here, and it looks like in some of these depictions of like the nose area on that. But this shadow here would be the same thing. It would just be a little not nearly this dark though, because now it's starting to look like he's got something going on here with a two-tone neck. It's not a real good depiction of the fact that that's a shadow. Do you see what I'm saying? I shouldn't say it's not a good depiction. It is a good depiction of the shadow. It's an excellent depiction of the shadow. But it could be more effective if you were to apply a hue that's based on a darker value of the parent's hue for the skin tone. And again, you don't want to go so dark that it looks foreign. Detail in the ears. Detail in we got stripes in the shirt, we got the tie, we got these shadows and wrinkles in the shirt right here. All of those can be depicted. Right here he's wearing a black suit, but here he's wearing a blue pinstripe suit. So I would recommend those details as well. So basically we're talking about this. We're talking about really using, you want to use that clipping mask to its full potential. So basically what you want to do is you want to use, instead of stopping the illustrations short of the clipping mask so that you can fit the word forever in, you want to try to incorporate that right into the illustration. So there's really no reason this illustration should stop right here and go right to the background color. I would recommend that you bring the illustration all the way down to the end of the clipping mask and then add your typography from there. We see that in all four situations here. Okay, so bring the illustration all the way down to the bottom of the playing field, as it were, and then assemble your type accordingly. Finally, my final recommendation is your typography. I would recommend using, well, first you want to place your type in an equal spot on every stamp. Right now this is centered, but this is off center. Also looks like this is larger than this. You also might consider using a different typeface for iconic American entertainer. By the way, it is iconic American entertainer. It's not American iconic entertainer, so you want to check that. And then you might consider using a different typeface for the title iconic American entertainer and the forever denomination to add some typographic variety. All right. Yeah, and the name of the game right now is detail. We really got to get some good detail and some consistency here in presentation. All right, so that is what I have. If you want to keep working on this and submit something between now and Sunday, that's fantastic. I'll be glad to provide additional comments. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. And if I can clarify anything that I've said in this critique, please let me know as well. Okay, thank you very much.